Got an interesting call after that show from the head of specials at NBC, with John Hamlin. Called me and said, would you like to be interested, same thing again, to doing the very first satellite show in Elva television? I said, you know my answer. He said, well, I can't say you have our okay. We would like to have you do it. You produce and direct it. And I said, fine. But you need to have the stars okay. I said, okay. Who is it? Wouldn't tell me. He said, you got to go look. He's performing in Santa Monica on stage. Oh, really? Okay, you got to go see him. I said, okay, my wife and I would say, okay, we'll go see him. We went there, and who came out on stage? Elvis Presley. I said, oh boy, here he is, one enormous star. He just stood there. And this show was going to be a 90-minute show. I says, there's no excitement except in his singing. What are the cameras going to do? What are we going to do for an hour and a half? I went back to NBC and told them that. And I says, I don't know what to do with him for an hour and a half. What are we going to do? He doesn't do anything. He stands in front of a big rag. And he says, well, you can do anything you want. You have our blessings. Anything you want to do. But Vegas, he used to work in Vegas too. I says, okay, but he said, let me tell you something. John was telling me, you've got to go and talk to the Colonel Parker in Vegas, get his okay and get Elvis's okay before you can do this show. I says, okay, well, what am I going to tell him? It's up to you. I said, well, okay. So I called an art director friend of mine, Ray Clausen. I says, Ray, here's what I have in mind. He doesn't do anything. I told him all the same things I'm just telling you. And he says, oh, okay. And I said, and I remember that what made Glenn Campbell and everybody else comfortable is to get the people close to the performer when they're working. And I said, I remembered that. And I said, but what I would like to do is that he is so high and so away, there's no relationship between he and the audience. And there is a love affair, and we got to capture that. And I said, Ray, I want the stage down. I don't want it that high. It can be up 7 feet, but that's it. And because maybe even 6.5, but 6 to 7 foot high. And I want a ramp. I want a runway to get him out into the audience. But I want it wide. I want it maybe 8 foot wide. And I want lights on the runway. And I want to take all the signs from Vegas and let's do the whole thing on the stage. So if he's not going to move, I can have the stage move. And because I did a special before this, in between the first Oscars and this, with Loggins and Messina. And I took all the old beaten up signs in Vegas and put them into a thing called In the Attic. And I made a set out of signs and it worked. And I said, but now those are just garbage. It's casino and roulette and stuff like that. But I said, let's take his name, the name Elvis, and make it in all the different fonts of the world, in Chinese, in Arabic, and everything, and we do it as Elvis all over the place, and so that in neons and light bulbs and everything, so it's alive, it lives. And I said, I'd like some mirrors in there, so that we bring the audience that is not on the stage, but if I take a cross shot, it looks like the audience is on the other side of him. And then to make him comfortable with an audience involved even when he's on the middle of the stage. And so he took all of that and did a great drawing. And I said, cover it up. I took it under my arm. I had to now go and do my tap dance to the Colonel, and then hopefully with Elvis. Well, I went up to Vegas alone, nobody there. No, my network wouldn't come with me. It was just myself. And so I met with the Colonel at the Hilton in the lobby. And I said, I would like to do some of these ideas that I'm just now mentioning. I would like to have him lower in the stage. And so he says, no, my guards are there. I have guards there, security guards. They're going to be there next to the stage. And I said, I want a runway there. And I want to have all girls there with leis and stuff like that. And no, I don't want him anywhere near the people. And I said, but he can be in the center. And that if he doesn't want to be near them, he walks down the center, they can't reach him. If he wants to get it with them, he walks over to them, they can get to him. It's his call. And he says, no, I will not have that. And I don't want all that lights. It's taking away from my boy, my star. And he said, no, I won't accept any of it. I says, listen, I've come all this way, and I'm going to at least meet with Elvis. He says, because I'm not going to go back unless I meet with him. He says, well, no, he's not going to do it. He won't do it. I mean, would you please call up there and see that because I knew Elvis was waiting for me. He called up and said, yeah, he'll see you. So he sent 2 goons down. And so they came and took me up the elevator, and we went upstairs to the 31st floor, whatever it is, empty. And these guys took me over there to a little, like a coffee table, and there are 4 chairs, one on each side. He said, sit at this end. I sat, and each of these 2 goons sat on either side. These goons became buddies of mine, so I can call them that. They don't mind, they laugh. And so they sat there, and I said, there's an empty chair. There's no Elvis. I just waited, and I waited. I was getting nervous. I was really nervous. I didn't know what to do. Because I said, this is the first satellite show. I don't want to goof this. I want to be able to try to do this. But I got to get my foot in the door with this. And so Elvis comes in. He has shades this big, a big feathered hat, and a big coat on. And he came in and sat down, didn't say a word. Like that, and sat down. I says, oh my God, I'm on. Well, here it goes for broke. Here I go. I started to look at the guy, and I said, Elvis, hi, I'm Marty Pasetta. NBC has asked me to, with your approval, to produce and direct this show. The first satellite show. They're going to be seen by millions of people. And here I am to talk creatively with you to see if you agree with me. And still no reaction from anybody. And I said, I went to see you per NBC's request in Santa Monica. I saw you on stage, and you stood there and you did a performance. Your music is outstanding. But let me tell you something. You weren't exciting. It was boring, and I don't know what I'm going to do with you for an hour and a half, but I have an idea. At that time, he sat up stiff, and as I was taking out the drawing, the 2 guys took out silver-plated guns and put them on the table. And if you don't think I was inhibited, you're crazy, because I was shaking in my boots. I opened up the drawing and showed Elvis. I said, Elvis, here's what I want to do. I want to do this because here it's going to be exciting. It's never been done. It's your name and all the different languages that's going to be seeing this show. They're going to know who you are because it's up there. And I have this runway. I want this down because I don't want any goons out there. I don't want any guards out there. I want girls, and I want them with the flower lace. And you have a runway. You can come down the center, or you can go over to the girls and so forth. And I want those girls to relate to you, and you relate to the girls. That's where the magic is going to be. And you look great up there, and you got to lose weight. And he jumped up, and I said, if you did all this, we're going to have a good show. He jumped up, threw his hat away, took the glasses off, and left his coat, ran over to me, grabbed me, hugged me, and he says, you're the first person that's been honest with me. And he says, I would lose weight. He lost 25 pounds. We became lasting friends till the day he died.